And we are back, and after what has been a very unique, for lack of other words, weekend, in particular in this country, due to the sad passing of Queen Elizabeth II, football is finally back on our screens again due to all of the football in this country being called off last weekend. The Champions League is back tonight. European football returns to our screens, but not every single game has gone unaffected, of course. The Arsenal PSV Europa League game on Thursday has been fully postponed, and the Rangers Napoli game that was set to be played tonight has been moved to Wednesday night, tomorrow night, due to policing concerns surrounding the death of Queen Elizabeth. I'm not really sure how the policing situations work. At the moment, the Chelsea game at Stamford Bridge will go ahead tomorrow, but the Arsenal game's called off, and several games have been called off already next weekend as well due to various different policing issues. So it is very, very strange times at the moment, but thankfully we will be through it very soon. And like I said, UCL football is back tonight, so we get to get the series back up and running again. As always, we will run through the results of the previous predictions before looking ahead to tonight's matches. If you do enjoy this series, please let me know by liking the video, sharing it with a friend, and subscribing to the channel. Let's have a look at what happened on match day 1, day 2. So, these were the predictions that I went for, and these were the results. Of course, the biggest result from last time was that incredible 4-1 home win for Napoli against Liverpool. A game that we are still yet to see the repercussions for in terms of a Liverpool perspective. Jurgen Klopp said he would be making several player and tactical changes ahead of the Wolves game that was obviously called off. So we will see tonight against Ajax what sort of changes that Jurgen Klopp had in mind, if any. So that was probably the biggest upset from last time. In terms of the other results, I don't really have too many complaints about the ones I got wrong or right. But it was good to get another correct result, this time in the Tottenham and Marseille game, with a 2-0 win thanks to 2 Richarlison goals, meaning that for the second day in a row, we did score a matchday score of 7, bringing the season score up to 14, which I will very much take for the first overall matchday week in the Champions League. Please let me know down in the comments how you got on. And now let's look ahead to tonight's games in match day 2, day 1. And we start with Group A, where there is just the one fixture, as we already mentioned. It is, of course, Liverpool and Ajax, and I really don't know where to put this one. Ajax have won every single game so far this season, other than the Super Cup that they had in the end of July against PSV. Since then, they've won every single game in the Dutch League, Dutch Cups, and of course their opener against Rangers, where they completely and utterly dismantled them. Liverpool, of course, on the back of this pretty poor run of form, that embarrassing defeat to Napoli. We really don't know, as it stands, what Jurgen Klopp is going to do. So I'm going to be a little bit bold, a little bit brave, and I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. I think Liverpool still should win. They should have a better quality of player than Ajax and should definitely be winning at home. In the Champions League at Anfield, it's going to be one of those European nights that they always go on about, but I think it's a situation right now where if Ajax are able to score early, the crowd could turn quite nasty quite quickly. There is a lot of nerves around Liverpool right now, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens if Ajax do get the first goal. On to Group B, and we start with Bayer Leverkusen and Atletico Madrid. Two sides that, well, haven't really lived up to the heights you'd expect of them. Bayer Leverkusen currently in the relegation zone in the Bundesliga after the opening 6 weeks in their competition. Atletico have been plodding along. I mean, there is no better example than the first game of the Champions League against Porto, where it took to the very end of the game for basically anything to happen, and 100th minute winner to make them win that one. I think they'll still be too good for Bayer Leverkusen in the end, so I am going to go for a 2-0 win for Atletico in that one. I don't really see Leverkusen doing anything the form they're in right now. As for the other game in that group, we have Porto up against Bruges, or Brugge, whatever you want to call them. Again, I think this isn't the easiest game to call. You would expect Porto to get the win, but Bruges have historically done very well, especially against other lesser ranked teams, shall we say, in the Champions League, as we saw last week against Bayer Leverkusen. I still expect Porto to get the win at home, so I'm going to go for 2-1 to Porto in that one. On to the group of death in Group C, and we start with Victoria Plzen's game against Inter Milan. Again, we don't really see any other result here other than what you would expect to be the standard Plzen thrashing. They were able to get a goal against Barcelona, but it didn't stop them conceding 5. I'm going to go for the same scoreline I went for in the Barcelona game, and I'm going to go for a 4-0 win to Inter Milan in this one here. I hope Plzen are able to do something, but I just can't see it happening this time round. The other game in this group, the absolute main event of the evening, sees Bayern Munich taking on Barcelona. Bayern, of course, getting the win at Inter last time out. Barcelona beating Plzen 5-1. It's a tough one. You've got Lewandowski returning to Bayern Munich tonight for the first time, and is he going to do something? You just know there is going to be some moment where he probably scores or big drama surrounding him happens. So I am going to give Barcelona a goal. However, based on what I've seen so far this season, I still think Bayern Munich are probably just a little bit too strong for Barcelona. I don't particularly rate Barcelona's defence at the moment, so I think Bayern Munich will just have too much going the other way for them tonight. I'm going to go for 3-1 to Bayern Munich. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Barcelona pull some result off tonight, but it's just not going to happen, in my opinion. Finally then, we have Group D, and we start with Sporting Lisbon up against Spurs. Two sides who got 2 very good wins on the opening day, making this not the easiest game to call. Sporting Lisbon, I just really didn't expect to get even a win against Frankfurt, let alone such a high-scoring win away at Frankfurt. So I'm a little bit more wary of them. But I think the way Tottenham have been playing this season, the way Antonio Conte sets his sides out, I don't think Sporting have enough to hurt Tottenham. So I'm going to go for a second 2-0 win in a row for Spurs and leave it at that, really. And finally then, it is Marseille up against Frankfurt, who will be looking for some sort of response after the Sporting Lisbon defeat. But again, the way Marseille have started the season, I know they struggled against Tottenham, but they were down to 10 men for most of the game, and even then it took a long while for Tottenham to get their goals, and they are currently sitting second in Ligue 1. I would expect them to get the win over Frankfurt, and I am going to go for a 3-1 win for them there. And that is going to be it for today's video. Just the 7 games, of course, which means we will have 9 games in tomorrow's video. As always, I will put in the description of this video all of the fixtures for tonight, allowing you to quickly copy and paste them down, so you can let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen. Thank you very much for watching, and I will be back tomorrow morning.